Hello and welcome to the Trinity Music Department podcast. On today's episode, we've got the head pupil, one of the head pupils at Trinity High School, David Ross. How are you doing, David?
I'm doing good. It's great to be here. It's amazing being the first ever guest.
Fantastic. It's really good to see you. How's things going at school? Everything going well?
It's going great. I've just finished all my auditions for university, so now I can just study the exams like normal.
Excellent. Did you have prelims? So what prelims have you had so far?
So I've had higher maths and advanced higher English, and then music's a wee while away.
So that's all in the same month that you've been also applying for uni as well?
Yeah, it's been pretty
busy. Been busy since Christmas then?
Yeah.
So you're glad to see the end of January then?
I was very happy when it was... usually I do a bit of studying every day after school, but yesterday I just relaxed because I finished it all.
Quite right, well deserved. And so you're applying for acting courses at uni then?
Yeah.
So are you having to do like auditions of yourself, like doing monologues and stuff like that?
Yeah, monologues, and because I was doing a musical theatre one, I had to do singing, playing an instrument, and dancing. And I enjoy the things, but recording myself doing it was a challenge.
That's the thing. It's one thing that sometimes it can take the joy away from actually. Like, we experience as well in music, like, people love playing the keyboard for the sake of playing the keyboard, but as soon as you're doing an exam, or like being recorded or that type of context, it can take the enjoyment away and just make it really stressful. What did you do music-wise for your acting audition? What did you play the keyboard or the piano?
I'm doing the keyboard for advanced higher.
Yeah.
But because we're now just doing, like, normal chords ourselves, like, it's not fingered through the keyboard.
Yeah.
I'd done piano because I felt that, looks better.
Very good. And are you hoping to hear back soon about whether you've been given offers, or is it one of those ones where you've got to then go to the next round of the auditions type thing?
Not for Edinburgh, but for the Conservatoire, it would be you've made it to the next round. There'll be a recall audition.
Fantastic. Well, obviously, keep everybody updated. I'm sure we'll do really, really well. So
on
to the main bit of the podcast. So what's going to happen is David's going to talk through his favourite 3 songs of all time. David's list of music that he's sent me in advance. Well, I say in advance. he's let me know of is really, really nice. For a lot of people, it's maybe considered quite an not old-fashioned taste in music, but traditional taste in music. And for a lot of people, this might be songs they've probably songs that you'd recognise, but maybe didn't know the title of. And just songs that are really, really nice to listen to. Songs that, when I was listening to them, made me feel relaxed and calm. And that is, again, the power of music. It's amazing. So what's the first song you want to talk about, David, you're going to kick us off with?
So the first song is Close to You by the Carpenters.
Fantastic. Recorded in 1970, I believe. So that's a beautiful song to start. So when did you first hear the song, or what's your first initial memories of it?
My mum loves the 70s. She was born in 64 and she's just 70s mad. So I've just grown up with it. I don't remember the first time hearing it, but it was the first song my mum heard after I was born.
Wow.
And she adopted it as my song because a few of the lyrics in it were similar to me as a baby.
Beautiful.
So she, every birthday I'd hear that song, every time it came on for the TV or the phone, it would be, it's David's song. So it's like a connection to my mum.
That's so nice. And again, the power of music and the memories that creates. Have you got like a favourite lyric or anything that resonates with you a lot that maybe your mum would have sang to you, or is it more just the song as a whole?
There was a lyric, because when you're a baby, your eyes are blue and then they change.
Yeah.
So mine are like bluish green, but there was a long time where it was just blue, and there was a lyric where it's the eyes of blue, and I was like, talking about me.
Wow. So did your mum like that song before you were born, or was it a case of like right when you were...
It was just one of these songs, there's a few songs that you enjoy but you wouldn't, listen to avidly, but it became one of the ones as soon as I was born.
That's lovely. It's so nice that the connection that you can have to a piece of music. And what is amazing is that Richard and Karen Carpenter, who recorded the version of the song, the 1970 version, they will have no idea. No offence, they probably have no idea who you are.
No, yeah.
But yet you're someone that has got this song that means so much to you that they recorded, which is fantastic. So interestingly, this song is actually a cover that they did, Karen and Richard Carpenter, the brother and sister duo. It was originally released in 1963. But this guy, Richard Carpenter, who's he played the keyboard and other instruments in the band, the harpsichord as well. He arranges a lot of other artists' music and released them as Carpenter singles. So the fact that it's a cover of a song is particularly important in how much memories that gives to you. Is there anything you like about it in terms of the instruments at all? Can you think of anything in particular?
it's simplistic. Now, like you'll see in the other songs I've chosen, I love a bit of rock, and like, I like to dabble in all sorts of music. So I like guitar, like something you can dance to. And this is a unique one because it's very simplistic. It's just piano. I don't know if there's a harp in it, but it feels like one of these songs that would have a harp in it.
This is like a music question where you've got the right one.
But it's very angelic and heavenly a wee bit, and simplistic.
It is beautiful. See the opening lyric, the "Why do birds suddenly appear" lyric there's something about it that's just so beautiful and majestic. What an amazing song. So see the band The Carpenters. Do you want to guess how many singles you think they've sold? How many records? Want to get a rough guess? I've cheated. I've got it written down. Citing you in the test. It's in the millions.
Oh God! Right. Okay. Jeez.
Don't go too high, and then then it's like embarrassing when it's below.
Right.
Do you want me just to say what it is? Do you want to have a guess?
3 million.
3 million. Not even close. More than 100 million records. 100 million. And that makes them like one of the best-selling artists of all time, up there with the Beatles and Queen and all that sort of thing. Unbelievable. Imagine having that many that many singles selling, which is incredible. Loads of famous fans of the Carpenters as well. So people like Paul McCartney from the Beatles, Michael Jackson, all influenced by their music. So it shows that your music taste is not only like inspiring you, this song, it's inspired people that have went on to create some of the most famous songs of the last 60 years. Absolutely incredible. And tragically, the Carpenters ended way before their time.
Yeah.
Do you want to fill us in on that? Because it is quite important to talk about that sort of thing.
Karen Carpenter, she had anorexia. It's believed that it came from when her and her brother were performing. The host went, "Oh, it's Richard Carpenter and his chubby sister." And then I don't know how he meant it, but it messed with her head. So if you've seen Karen Carpenter, she's got a beautiful figure. She's like, there's nothing up with her at all. And she ended up believing that there was, and consequently it led to her death because she just wasn't eating enough. And my mum actually uses that as a lesson for me because I learned a lot about them growing up with them.
Yeah.
And it was a point of whatever people say doesn't define you. It's so easy to get in your own head, to believe lies. And yes, it's good to care about public opinion, but not to the point where it's damaging you.
Yeah. It's a great message in there, David, that particularly important for teenagers as well and pupils in this school, that might be really important for them to hear, particularly around the time where teenagers are more and more anxious and more stressed. It's so important that we raise awareness of that, and having people like yourself who's such a good role model for everybody in this school. I'm not joking, by the way, like just such a nice, genuinely amazing person. The more people we can get like that, the more comfortable people will be opening up, talking about the mental health, and it's really important. So on that note, we'll move on to your next song. So I've got, again, cheating with the papers here. What have we got for song number 2? What are you going to go for? I'll
go for You Give Love a Bad Name by Bon Jovi.
Fantastic. What an amazing song that is. Changing the tone a wee bit as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean by I love like rock and roll. That's probably my favourite.
Sometimes you can't beat a good headbang, get the music on loud, and just blasting the songs on. When did you first hear this song then?
So it's one of the songs I've heard through movies, but I've never really bothered to pick it up. And for a while, my favourite song instead of this was Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
So then I heard You Give Love a Bad Name, and I was quite conflicted. I was like, I don't want to betray
the original one,
Yeah, but I had to. It was just so good. The guitar in it, I love songs that I can dance to, and that's definitely one.
Yeah, it's a brilliant song. It's in Guitar Hero. Have you ever played that game before?
That in
so it's in Guitar Hero. That's where a lot of people get a lot of their music taste from as well. Yeah, it's a fantastic song. First song to reach number 1 for Bon Jovi as well. In the American, it's called the Billboard charts. I think it is in America, where they rank the singles in terms of the most popular people to buy it. So in 1986, when it came out, it's the first Bon Jovi number 1 song. Timeless song as well. I mean, anybody that likes guitar music will have a soft spot for that. And I think sometimes bands like Bon Jovi get a bit of a bad name for not selling out, but playing like stadium rock songs that everybody loves. Sometimes people can get a wee bit kind of critical of that sort of thing. But it is, it's a great song. You can't beat it. I don't know if you know this, by the way. Do you know who Ava Max is, the pop star?
Yeah.
So she's got a song called Kings and Queens. I think it's called Kings and Queens. It's like a kind of pop song from the last 5 years or so. And the guys in Bon Jovi actually have a songwriting credit because of You Give Love a Bad Name.
Oh, I didn't
You've
know
got a
that.
fun fact for you. So apparently the melody and the chords progression and everything in that song is found to have been so similar.
Yeah.
They actually have a royalty credit on that song. So every time Ava Max's song gets played on the radio or gets streamed, Bon Jovi get a cut of the royalties as well because of the fact that their song that you've said, You Give Love a Bad Name's
They are pretty
the
similar.
same sort of. When you think about it, and maybe listen to them both back to back, there is a lot of similarities there.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ava Max purposely ripped them off, but
A lot of songs use like inspiration from other songs, though.
that's the thing as well. I mean, you think about like there's only so many chord progressions you can do in a piece of music. There does come a point where like every artist is going to end up duplicating work of other people. Have you got any memories attached to this song at all in particular?
So, excuse me. My gran loved Bon Jovi, and I was very close to my gran. So I was always dressing up as Bon Jovi for the last day of 6th year. You know, they get fancy
What,
dress.
in primary school, or do you
No,
mean, or do you mean this?
here,
That's
this
your,
year. I'm going to.
that's an exclusive for everybody there.
Yeah, so we coming up secret. But it was in primary school I decided that because we were listening to, there was like a wee rock star group that came over, and I was like, oh, I'd love to dress up as Bon Jovi because Living on the Prayer was the only one I knew at that time.
Yeah.
So decided that. Then my dad just like randomly chimed in and went, oh, that was your gran's favourite? And I was like insanely close with my gran, and I was like shocked. I was like, oh, I was just so happy because it was, because it wasn't as if things with the Carpenters, I would never know if I would naturally like that. But with Bon Jovi, it was something that I naturally liked. And then I found out there was a wee bit of, again, sentimental value.
Oh, that's lovely.
So
I'm glad that it's like it's one of those ones that would be a bit awkward if like it was your grand's favourite song and you didn't like it at all.
Yeah, that would be.
Like,
It was
unfortunate.
For Halloween last year, I was thinking of either Rick Astley or Bon Jovi.
Oh yeah.
And I decided Rick Astley because I wanted Bon Jovi to be
the pinnacle.
Yeah,
of
the finale, if you like.
Quite right. Well, what a fantastic song that is. It's one that everybody, I'd imagine most people probably would have heard of that song, or at least.
But definitely when it comes on, you would know it.
There's an interesting thing about this. So you probably might know this. So you see the opening lyric, "Shot Through the Heart." That's also the name of another Bon Jovi song that's unrelated to that. So they've got a song called "Shot Through the Heart," which just happens to. It's just like they've referenced their own song in the lyrics, which is quite cool, I think. And John Bon Jovi is his name, is the frontman of Bon Jovi. I'm not too sure if they still produce music. Do you know if they still have?
I've not really listened. The only one I knew that was "It's My Life," and that was early 2000s, so that's a wee while.
They're one of those bands that I'm sure they would come back and do a big tour if like
they were like mega popular. A lot of generations know them, like different ones.
Classic rock band that anybody that likes guitar music should definitely go and listen to. On to your last song then, David, song number 3. This is a beautiful piece of music. So what are we going to go for your last one?
So Alone by Heart.
Fantastic. What a beautiful song.
Again, this is one that I heard in primary school. I used to just go on YouTube and get random 80 songs, and then tons of new ones would pop up. And because I was so young, I've never heard like these big hits before.
Yeah.
So I was discovering a lot of artists, and I remember hearing this one. It starts off quite mellow with the piano, and I think it's going to be a really sad song. And I remember thinking, oh, I don't like sad songs, so I was ready to skip it. Then the music video, the piano explodes, and then the rock music just comes out of nowhere. And then like the whole band comes out in electric guitars, like a proper drum beat. It's amazing, and it was such a shock because I was thinking it was just such a turn. The contrast. Yeah, that's the thing about the 3 songs you've chosen. I like the fact that you've covered such a diverse like styles within the 3 songs. You've got your kind of piano based ballads music, but you've also got guitars and rock in it. And I think that's something people appreciate, that you're not like a sort of one-dimensional person. You've got all these other mixes. That song's also a cover song as well. So 2 of the 3 songs you've chosen aren't originally by the person that's made them famous, which is, I mean, I think that probably happens more than people would expect. So the song, the version that you've chosen came out in 1987 and the original was out in 1983. So that's quite cool that that's happened, and people obviously Heart, the band, they must have listened to that and adapted it and made it their own song, and it's got a really famous chorus that I guess one of those ones where, see if you put it on Spotify and listen to it, you would recognise it and go for it. Do you have any other particular memories of that song, or is it just something that you it's something
reminds you of being young and all that sort of thing as well?
Yeah, it was well, when I was younger, I was, I wasn't fat or anything like that, but I was struggling to, do things that other people could do, like football and that. I'd always be out of breath dead quick, and I was thinking, I've got to sort this out. So, I mean, looking back, I was like not had like my stretch, like for growing. But
Yeah.
I decided to do the dancing. So, because my dad's living room got cleared and I had space to do it.
Yeah.
So that was like the song that I'd put on, like the start of it's just kind of,
Aye.
because it was something new for me. It's like, right, work myself into it. And then as soon as the rock part, it was just, I didn't care.
Quite right.
And then through that, mainly that song, it's like I lost a lot of weight because
Really, just through dancing in the spare room?
Oh, honestly, it's like my excuse for not going to the gym because whenever I'm like stressed out, even with Steve, like my exams or like uni auditions, things like that,
Yeah.
I just put it on, clear it out, and then I do stuff, and I just learn. So I remember I seen someone do a backbend. I thought, oh, I want to try that.
Yeah.
So at first I could hardly do it, and now I'm looking and I'm doing things that I just never thought were possible.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So that song's got that was like the first song that was like, right, let's try dancing to this.
Yeah. And you've made a name for yourself in this school through your dance moves as well.
Yeah.
Winning the talent show, being in all of other school shows as well for it. And it's amazing that comes from a song. And I'll continue to go on about this forever. Like the power that music has to inspire people to change themselves or to better themselves, or like for their mental health, which is obviously so important. It's amazing. So I know you've also mentioned kind of on the side about a band that you like, that's your favourite band of all time, and you've not managed to fit one of their singles into your top 3 songs. But when it comes to favourite artist, who would you say is that is? Then?
Plot twist, it's Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac. What
Absolutely
a fantastic band.
Love them. And I love all of these bands as well. And with music, I'm someone that's quite, I'm not that picky. If it sounds good, I'm happy to listen to it.
Good stuff.
So, I knew Stevie Nicks through. I seen her on TV once, and she was in like programs.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was this video game I was playing, and they got the radio like real songs.
Yeah.
So it was I Can't Wait by Stevie Nicks, and I listened to that, and I was like, oh, I really like this. Then about a few years later, my whole year group's talking about, oh, Fleetwood Mac, they're amazing, I love them. And I was like, oh,
what time was this that they were, like, a couple of years ago, or?
I was in S5.
S5, just last year.
So
then?
just last year.
They're talking about how amazing Fleetwood Mac are.
And everyone got into them. My friend Hannah's, we sat next to each other in music, and she always mentioned them. And it's pretty silly because I was thinking, this must be one of the new bands that, the young kids are talking about. Now I felt like an old man. I was like, aye, Fleetwood Mac, they're amazing. I'm like, who's that? So then they're like, I think someone told me one of their songs, and I was like, oh, It's Everywhere. And then I was like, oh, wait, I love that song. And I was like, just like labelled all of them. Then the start of 2022, I heard Little Lies.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I was
what
like,
a great song.
Absolutely love this. And then every song I've seen was just a banger.
Every single one, yeah.
And
never made a bad song.
I was studying for my advanced higher English exam, and then I was just kind of getting in my head. I was like, oh, I can't do this. I was like, this is just getting too much. Because it was really hard not to get overwhelmed with everything I had to do.
Yeah.
And I had music in the background, and then all of a sudden Fleetwood Mac came on. And I'm not even joking, like you said, like power of music, I was just like, oh, maybe I can do this. And then I'm doing okay. Then he played a song that I'd never heard before. I think it's Family Man.
Okay, yeah.
Something like that. And it's not really that, for Fleetwood Mac, it's not that popular. Mm-hmm. But I heard it, and I was like, oh, I love this. So I ended up just like going from like overwhelmed to just flowing through the work, just singing, so.
Power of music again, isn't it? That album Rumours that they brought out is kind of regarded as one of the top 10 albums of all time. The one that's got all the kind of most famous singles.
Tango in the Night, that's my favourite.
Very good,
that's
fantastic.
Got like, I think that one's got Everywhere, Little Lies, Big Love.
Yeah.
Like in Family Man as well, that one was.
Yeah, they've got brilliant. So they've got songs again that everyone will know but maybe haven't heard of, like Go Your Own Way is a great song. The Chain as well is one of my favourite songs of all time, particularly when the bass line comes in at the end. It's one of the songs that anybody that plays a bass guitar will probably learn how to play that.
Business, my teacher, he was, because the whole class was loving Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
And can I say the teacher's
name? You can say the teacher's name.
Okay, Mr. Nairn. He, because I never knew Fleetwood Mac, I just imagined him. I just think of Stevie Nicks and Mr. Nairn when I think of Fleetwood Mac.
Really?
What
a duo that is.
I know. So, he played it on in the background, and I was like, oh, this is actually like. I think that's how I found out like this wasn't some new generation wave band, and I think that kind of speaks to me, because as soon as I heard it was like, oh yeah, it's a new song, and I thought it was a new band, I was like, oh well, I'm not going to listen to it, it's a new band. But as soon as I found out it wasn't, I was like, all right, I like it then.
I'll go and give it a chance.
Yeah, so like so I should probably give like modern music a better chance.
Well, that's the thing about like it's such an endless spectrum of stuff you can discover. And I was thinking about this morning, like, once you get into one band, you can get into another band from that, and before you know it, you've discovered all this new stuff. And that's only like a tiny bit within the whole massive. It's almost like thinking like the solar system. Like, you've only discovered one tiny part of it, and there's so much more you can explore, which is fantastic. So thank you very much for your time, David.
No problem.
Again, I could talk away for ages to you, but we'll conclude things there. So David's 3 songs are going to be linked in the description, so please go and have a listen to them, check them out. Also worth having a listen to Fleetwood Mac if you like.
I've not met one person that doesn't like Fleetwood Mac.
I was just going to say that, like, they're one of those bands that are just so good that everybody likes, regardless of whether, like, maybe more into heavier music, even if people that like more rap-based music, everybody likes Fleetwood Mac. So go and have a listen to it. And we'll be back next week with another episode of the Trinity Music Podcast. Thanks for listening. Thank you, David.
Thank you.